Okay, Bruce, that's good.
Where'd you all go?
We're here.
Yeah, I know, but I can't see any of you.
We can see you.
You guys can see me?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yes, we
interesting.
can.
I can't see any of you or any of the participants.
You know, Representative Seabrook, if you had a cat in your arms, you'd look just like the Godfather.
Smoking a cigar.
All right, there we go. Okay,
Okay,
Are we
Yep.
live, Darlene?
huh?
Are we live?
You are?
good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Committee on Transportation. This afternoon, we have a combination of things. We have a confirmation hearing. We also have, we have to look at the general fund transportation section on the supplemental budget. And then we are going to have our work session. We have 4 bills and we'll get into those in a little bit. And before we start, we want to remind everybody that this is an electronic meeting. So remember that you're pretty much always on. The meeting is live streamed on committee's YouTube channel. And so all participants via Zoom can be seen and heard if the mic is on. And the speakers will be recognized as we go through this before speaking. The meeting is also recorded and available on the committee's YouTube after the meeting is concluded. So remember all that. And before we go any further, I think it's time for us to introduce the committee. I'll call on each committee person and please introduce yourself. And we will let everybody know who we all are. And we'll start with Senator Brad Farren.
He's not on.
Okay, well, there we go. We'll then go to Senator Ben Chipman.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Senator Ben Chipman. I represent Senate District 27, which is most of the city of Portland.
Thank you, Ben. Representative Wayne Perry.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wayne Perry. I represent House District 10, which covers Arundel, Dayton, and most of Lyman.
Thanks, Wayne. Representative Lynn Williams.
Hello, I'm Representative Lynn Williams. I represent House District 135, which is Bar Harbor, Lemoyne, and Mount Desert.
Thank you, Lynn. Representative Dustin White.
Not on yet.
Not on, okay. Representative Mike Perkins.
He's hooking up. He's almost here.
We'll come back to he.
Oh, no, he's here. He's here.
Okay, very good.
I'm Representative Mike Perkins, representing Oakland, District Number 77, Oakland and Sydney. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Representative Mark Bryant.
Thank you, Senator. Welcome all. I'm Mark Bryant from Wyndham. I represent House District 24.
Thanks, Mark. Representative Bruce White.
Hi, yes, Representative Bruce White from District 109, which is about half of Waterville.
Thanks, Bruce. Representative Tom Martin. I know Tom's here.
I know he is. He's muted though for some reason.
We'll come back to Tom. Representative Kevin O'Connell.
Thank you, Senator. My name is Kevin O'Connell, I represent District 128, most of Brewer.
And Representative Rich Seabrook.
Good afternoon. I'm Representative Rich Seabrook. I represent District 68, the lovely towns of Naples, Sebago, Baldwin, Cornish, and part of Parsonsfield.
Thank you. And House Chair, Representative Danny Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Danny Martin, House Chair. I represent House 150, located in northern Worcester County.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I think we have Tom Martin back.
Can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
There we go. Sorry about that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name's Tom Martin. I represent District 57, which is Green and Sabattis.
Thank you, Tom. And Senator Brad Farren, is he with us?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, he was coming back from a work assignment and was supposed to arrive at 12:55. So I think he'll He'll come running in here shortly.
Okay.
And my name is Bill Diamond. I'm Senate Chair, live in Wyndham, and my district is District 26, which all the towns, 6 of them, circle Sebago Lake, except for one town, Fry Island, that's in the middle of the lake. So that works out good. Want to introduce our analysts, Sam Prowler, Karen Neto, and Suzanne Voynick, and our committee clerk, of course, who pulls this all together, Darlene Semino. Thank you, Darlene, for all.
Oh, you're welcome.
We are going to, I'm going to turn this over to the House Chair, House Chair Danny Martin. He's going to conduct the confirmation hearing. So, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Senator. We'll now proceed with our confirmation hearing. This is a public hearing of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation for the purpose of considering the nomination by the governor of Mr. Thomas J. Zook of Saco for reappointment to the Maine Turnpike Authority Board of Directors. This meeting, as mentioned previously, is being conducted electronically. Under the laws and joint rules of the legislature, this committee is required to hold this public hearing and to recommend confirmation or denial of the nominee by majority vote of the committee members present and voting. As chairs of the committee, we will then send written notice to the committee's recommendation to the President of the Maine Senate. This committee, the committee will hear testimony from and have an opportunity to question the governor or her representative, the nominee, and other persons present who wish to speak for or against the nomination. Before we get started, I want to share some information related to the fact that this meeting is being conducted using an electronic. If you're not muted, if you're unmuted, the public can see you and hear you. And as mentioned by Senator Diamond previously, this will be recorded on a YouTube channel as soon as we conclude the public hearing. Pursuant to Title III, Section 157 of the Maine statutes, which requires that there be an affirmative motion to recommend confirmation of the nominee, the chair recognizes Senator Bill Diamond.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move that the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation recommend confirmation of Mr. Thomas J. Zook of Saco for reappointment to the Maine Turnpike Authority Board of Directors.
Thank you, Senator. The chair now recognizes Mr. Joe Bushy from the governor's office for the purpose of making a statement concerning this nomination. The floor is yours, Mr. Bushy.
Well, thank you, Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, and distinguished members of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation. My name is Joe Bushy, and I'm the Deputy Director of Boards and Commissions for Governor Mills. I'm here today on behalf of the governor to speak in support of the nomination of Thomas Zook of Saco as a member of the Maine Turnpike Authority. The Maine Turnpike Authority is established in statute under Title 23, and the board consists of 7 members, 6 of whom are appointed by the governor. 1 member must come from each of the following counties: York, Cumberland, Androscoggin, and Kennebec County, and they serve as representatives from the county in which they must live. There are also 2 at-large members who are residents of the state. The Commissioner of Transportation is the 7th member and serves in an ex officio capacity. Thomas Zook of Saco is being nominated to a seat which requires that the nominee be a representative of and reside in York County. Mr. Zook has been a member of the authority since 2017. He's a graduate of Bentley College with a degree in accounting and has been a certified public accountant since 1990. He's currently Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer at Kennebunk Savings Bank, and previously held executive and management positions at Wentworth Douglas Hospital in Dover, New Hampshire, Martins Point Healthcare, and Androscoggin Bank. He began his professional career as a CPA at KPMG and Baker Newman in Portland. In addition to his membership on MTA, he has served on the Board of Directors and Finance Committee of the United Way of Greater Portland and Board of Directors of Southern Maine Healthcare in Biddeford. On behalf of Governor Mills, I would ask that you support the nomination of Thomas Zook of Saco, and I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Bushy. Any questions from the committee members? You could raise your hand or just say your name and ask your question. Darlene, I see no questioners.
Okay, thank you.
Correct? Thank you, Mr. Boucher. Very well done. The chair now recognizes Mr. Thomas J. Duke for the purpose of making a statement concerning his nomination. Welcome, Mr. Duke. Mr. Duke.
Thank you very much. Senator Diamond, Representative Martin, members of the Joint Standing Commission on Transportation. My name is Thomas Zook from Saco. I'm here today to discuss with you my reappointment to the Maine Turnpike Authority Board of Directors. I would like to thank the committee for your time in reviewing my nomination. I have been on the Maine Turnpike Authority Board since 2017. I understand the importance of my role on the board and welcome the opportunity for another term. I have been a resident of York County, Maine my entire life and understand the importance of the Maine Turnpike as an economic engine for the state. I have been a regular commuter on the Maine Turnpike since 2000. I have experience on various boards of directors, United Way of Greater Portland, Southern Maine Healthcare. I've also been involved in various management capacities. I've worked very closely with boards and understand the responsibilities that come with my position. I have an extensive background in accounting and finance. As was noted, I am a CPA and have been a member of senior management in various organizations and most recently with Kennebunk Savings Bank. I look forward to a second term on the Maine Turnpike Association Board of Directors, and I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Zook. The chair would now ask if members of the committee has any questions or comments of the nominee. I see none. Thank you, sir. The chair would now take comments from persons attending this public hearing who wish to speak for or against the nomination. Anyone who has a written statement but does not wish to speak should have submitted the statement with the committee clerk prior to today's hearing. All statements shall contain the name and residence of the person who prepared the statement. A copy of each written statement presented to the committee at this time will be made available to the nominee upon his request prior to the committee's vote, and the nominee will have an opportunity to respond to the written comment. A question to our committee clerk: has anyone submitted any written statements, Darlene?
No, they have not.
Thank you. Those who wish to speak in person registered with the committee clerk prior to the start of this hearing will be called upon by the chair, at which time they will be promoted to panelist status in Zoom and can be seen or heard. When it is your turn to speak, please observe the following. You are asked to state your name, place of residence prior to presenting your testimony. Only comments concerning the suitability of this particular nominee for this particular position shall be considered in order. All other comments will be considered out of order. After you're done speaking, there are no more questions from the members. You will be returned to attendee status and the next person will be called. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone who has registered to testify?
We do. We have Peter Mills from the Maine Turnpike Authority,
Great.
who needs to turn his
Thank
mic on
you.
and maybe his camera.
Yes, please.
Can you hear me? Because I'm unmuted.
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, great. At least you can hear me if you can't see me.
Well,
Not missing much.
we can't see you, Mr. Mills, and for the record, we'd like to be able to see you.
Aha. Start video, it says. Hang on a minute. There I am.
There we go.
There we go.
Good Lord, I got my tie on and everything.
Great. Welcome, Mr. Mills.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and other members of the Transportation Committee. I just wanted to say a couple of things to bring you up to speed on.
Yeah, Mr. Mills. Mr.
Yes,
Mills,
sir.
if you could please, for the record, introduce yourself and state the agency or organization that you represent.
Certainly. Yeah, I'm Peter Mills. I'm a resident of two Maines, basically, Oxbow Road in Cornville and State Street in Portland. I'm the executive director of the Maine Turnpike Authority. I have been since 2011. It's been my pleasure to work with Mr. Zook since 2017 when he was first appointed, if I may. I think the posture of his nomination is that he is actually already 1 year into a 6-year term. So if you choose to reappoint him, he will be allowed then to serve the remaining 5 years of the current term that he has, or that he is in the middle of. When he was first appointed, I think he was appointed to complete the incomplete term of a prior member. And the terms of the board for the Maine Turnpike Authority are all 6 years, except for the ex officio member from DOT. And they rotate so that there's one that comes up every year, and his came up last year, but the legislature adjourned before we could get him through the process. It's extremely important that the Turnpike Board have highly experienced finance people serving on the board, and Mr. Zook fits that definition to a T. We are increasingly involved in discussions and planning about how to finance all of the projects that we are constantly planning for and embroiled in. In 2006 alone, we spent $106 million on capital projects, and we had a considerable debate last spring about, which of those to continue with, and we elected to continue with them all in order to sustain the Southern Maine economy, and we were successful in doing so. But Mr. Zook's banking and finance experience are crucial to engaging the board intelligently in helping us to make those decisions, and his questions and his comments are of great value to that process. A large number of people who work here at the Turnpike are involved in finance and IT and related skill sets. It is an increasingly important aspect of what we do for work, not only just financing our own financing the road, but planning for how to do the borrowing that is often necessary to sustain our programs. It is also important that we have board members who have continuity of experience with the Turnpike, and now Mr. Zook has 4 years of experience, and having him available for the coming 5 years would be a great asset to the organization. It's also true that he's the only member from York County, and some of our we've done an awful lot of work in the other counties in recent years, and it's suddenly become, or not suddenly, but rather deliberately become York County's opportunity to have a place in the sun. The Saco interchange is right now, I think, one of the worst from a traffic perspective of any interchange on the Turnpike. We've fixed Gray and Lewiston and some of the others that were a problem, and we will be planning to spend probably $30-odd million to rebuild completely how people get on and off the Turnpike in Saco. And it's just very good to have somebody that lives down there share their insights as a board member. We also have some work to do at Biddeford to improve that interchange. And in the long term, we will probably be looking at Wells to rebuild that one, but that'll be probably 6 or 8 years from now. So for a host of reasons, this is a very good appointment for us, for the Turnpike, and it will be very helpful to have Mr. Zook's continuity of participation in our process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mills, Director Mills. Any questions of Director Mills from committee members? Darlene, I see none. I'm sorry, Representative Perry.
Yeah, just real quick, a follow-up to Peter. Yeah, Saco's bad, but Biddeford's way worse. And it's good to have somebody from York County that's lived there their whole life. They really know the area, and that's a huge benefit with all the issues we have down that way.
Great, thank you, Representative Perry. Anyone else? I see no one. Darlene, anyone else wishing to testify?
Not to my knowledge.
Thank you. All public comments have been taken. The committee will now proceed as follows. We will review any additional written comments on the nomination that have been received by the committee. and we have no written comments, is my understanding. We will vote on the nomination and notify the President of the Senate pursuant to Title III MRSA, Section 157, and our joint rules. The vote must be taken within 35 days from the date of the governor's written notice. The hearing by the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation for Mr. Thomas J. Zook of Saco for reappointment to the Maine Turnpike Authority Board of Directors is now closed. In accordance with the law, the committee may not take the vote on this nomination sooner than 15 minutes after the close of the public hearing unless all committee members who are present agree. At this time, therefore, the chair will inquire whether any member present objects to proceeding to take the vote immediately. Are there any objections?
Senator Chipman has his hand up.
Senator Chipman.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to move that we move forward and not wait 15 minutes.
Great, thank you, Senator.
Yeah.
Hearing no objections, we will now proceed. The pending question before the committee is that the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation recommend to the Senate of the 130th Legislature that the nomination of Mr. Thomas J. Zook of Saco for reappointment to the Maine Turnpike Authority Board of Directors be confirmed in accordance with 3 MRSA, Chapter 6, Section 157, and with our joint rules of the 130th Legislature. The vote will be taken by the yeas and nays. A vote of yes will be in favor of recommending confirmation. A vote of no will be against the nomination to recommend confirmation. Is the committee ready for the question? I believe we all are. The committee clerk will call the roll. Darlene?
Everybody want to unmute your microphones? Representative Seabra. You need to unmute. Okay. Representative Perry.
Yes.
Representative Perry, yes. Representative Williams.
Yes.
Representative Williams, yes. Representative Dustin White is absent. Senator Chipman.
Yes.
Senator Chipman, yes. Senator Farren.
Yes.
Senator Farren, yes. Senator Diamond.
Yes.
Senator Diamond, yes. Representative Danny Martin.
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin, yes. Representative Perkins.
Yes.
Representative Perkins, yes. Representative Bryant.
Yes.
Representative Bryant, yes. Representative Bruce White.
Yes.
Representative Bruce White, yes. Representative Tom Martin.
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin, yes. Representative Kevin O'Connell.
Yes.
Representative Kevin O'Connell, yes. And Representative Seabra.
Yes.
Representative Seabra, yes. Okay. 12 in the affirmative and 1 absent.
Thank you, Darlene.
You're welcome.
12 members of the Committee on Transportation have voted in the affirmative and 0 in the negative, with 1 absent. It is the vote of the committee of the Joint Standing Committee on Transportation that the nomination of Mr. Thomas J. Zook of Saco for reappointment to the Maine Turnpike Authority Board of Directors be confirmed. Congratulations, Mr. Zook.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Tom. Thank you all.
Right.
Thank you.
At this time, Mr. Zook, we would normally go around the horseshoe and congratulate you, welcome you, and shake your hand, but unfortunately for today's meeting, we can't do this. Senator Diamond, you've got the gavel.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, congratulations, Mr. Zook, for your reappointment. We appreciate your work on the Turnpike. We will now, by the way, I want to welcome Senator Farren, who has joined us. Welcome, Senator. You'd like to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Senator Diamond. Senator Brad Farren, representing Senate District 3, which is the majority of Somerset County.
Thank you, sir. We'll now enter into our work session. And I would remind everybody that this is not a public hearing. The purpose of the work session, of course, is for the committee to discuss the items that are presented to us in this work session. Members may request through the chair if you would like to have somebody provide information that have been scheduled to speak. The committee, I remind the committee that it's important for everybody to remember that you're on. If your mic is on, you're on. So I just want to remind you of that. What we will do now, we're going to start with the general fund supplemental budget that deals with transportation. This, I think probably Suzanne Voynick is with us today, but there are 4 curtailment initiatives on the state police. And as you know, those few do land on the, excuse me, on the general fund side. So we will go through that, answer any questions you may have. And again, if you would like to have somebody provide information, the commissioner is here and along with some other folks from his department. So feel free to ask for that information if you have. Now is Suzanne. Yes, welcome Suzanne. How are you?
Good afternoon. Suzanne Voynick from the Fiscal Office of the Legislature.
Thank you.
Before we start, these are all curtailments, and I don't know and if you don't, that's fine too. If anybody wants an explanation of what a curtailment is.
Why don't you do that? That would be
okay.
Nice.
So a curtailment is something that the governor has at her disposal. If it looks like the revenues are down so that we might be out of budget by the end of the fiscal year. And this past year we were, because of COVID and the pandemic and the closures of businesses and so forth. So she did curtail expenses. And that happens because the Constitution of Maine requires us to be in balance at the end of the fiscal year. And the governor does not have, what a curtailment is it's basically a cut in spending. So it reduces what the departments have available to them to spend. In a normal company, that's not a state government, the powers that be would just cut the expenses and move on. But in state government, the governor cannot do that. Only the legislature can reduce an appropriation or allocation. So once the legislature comes back in, we now have a supplemental budget that's before you. And the curtailments are being made on a one-time basis in the supplemental budget. Some of these may repeat in the biennial budget. I don't know if the department decided that they could cut on an ongoing basis, but I haven't really looked at that, so I don't know. But anyway, so that's what it is. So only the legislature can approve an appropriation reduction. The governor cannot do that on her own. She can only propose it. So does that somewhat make sense?
Thank you, Suzanne. Any questions from the committee members about this? These are also under the Coronas Relief Fund. These are also allowable by the U.S. Treasury. So that's something in case anybody had that question.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Danny Martin.
Yes.
Yeah, Suzanne, to clarify, and for those that may be new in the committee or in the process, this is just for this current fiscal year, correct?
Yes, it is. Yes, we'll also have a piece of the biennial budget once we get to that, but this is just for FY21.
But for today's purposes, we're only talking about the supplemental budget and the curtailments for this current fiscal year.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
So
yes.
I'm going to attempt to share my screen. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to talk. But let me see if this works.
We did. We got it.
What happened? I got the wrong document.
Oh,
Hang on.
working from home. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just start at the top. The first initiative reduces funding by minimizing costs for telephones and secure remote access through streamlining. And again, this relates to the curtailments. It's a 44,961 reduction in FY21.
Let me just remind the committee that I cannot see hands waving because of the screen that we're using.
Right.
So just speak up, raise your hand or whatever. Any questions on the first initiative?
Senator Diamond, it's
Yes.
do you want to look at these individually or do you want to take them item by item?
There's only four, so let's just get out through them individually, then we can, in case anybody had a particular question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then if you want to do it that way, I'll stop sharing my screen once you actually vote so you can see.
Okay, very good.
The next one reduces funding by freezing one vacant office associate 2 position. And that's related to the curtailments again. That's a reduction of $37,336. And this is all general fund. I believe that is related to the Bureau of Identification within the state police. The next one reduces funding by utilizing coronavirus relief funds to support public health and public safety, personal services costs identified as an allowable use by the United States Treasury guidance. And this is a reduction of $11,812,731. That was used from the coronavirus relief funds instead of the general fund.
Questions? Okay.
Okay. And where's my, the heck did my mouse go? Oh, there. Let me see if I can scroll down on this thing. The next one reduces funding by allocating expenses for crime lab testing supplies to allowable federal funding source. Relates to the curtailments, and that's $42,900 reduction in general fund dollars. And that is all.
So that one, Suzanne, is transferring that expense to federal funding?
I believe so, yes. And I don't think that's coronavirus related, but the department's here, so if they can let us know. I think it's just a regular federal dollars.
Any questions of Suzanne? She's going to be with us for a bit, so, but I do want to invite the commissioner to see if he has any comments to make and maybe talk about any of these items in case the committee members have questions on him. Commissioner Sacha?
Thank you very much, Senator Diamond. I really do appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thanks for your work. The last question you just asked, that was a move from the general fund to a DNA grant. An existing DNA grants, we were able to move some money around there to support testing and supplies at the crime lab. And certainly happy to answer any questions on the previous 3 items as well.
Questions from the committee? The third one, the $11 million seems like a pretty big hit. Any comments about that, Commissioner?
So, our partners at DAFS and the Office of the Budget did a great job working with the federal government, the administration, to look at all of the opportunities that the COVID relief fund allowed us. And they came back with a set of strict guidelines on what salary components would be allowed to be covered or moved from the general fund to that relief fund source. And ultimately for us, that's a large volume of that is salaries through the Maine State Police that were all covered and all designated as such through the Treasury Department.
I got it. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes. Other questions? Somebody have one?
I have a question.
Yes. Was that Kevin? Representative O'Connell?
Representative Seabrook.
Representative Seabrook, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the reduction in the crime lab, is that going to affect in any way the mission critical status of the crime lab?
No, sir. That is a dollar for dollar switch from general fund over to grant funding. So no, that should not impact the mission of the crime lab in any way, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator
Yes.
Diamond?
Yes. Is that Senator Farron?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Commissioner, could you, I know we're strictly dealing here with the supplemental budget, but we all know we're going to be facing the discussions moving forward with a biennium budget. How these items that you identified here, I understand with the funding source from the grants, but like with the position itself specific, are you looking at some of those curtailments in the biennium budget, or is this kind of standalone, and are you identifying some of those other sources going forward?
Yeah, thank you, Senator. It is a great question. The first item that's there and I don't have your sign off sheet, so I'm not sure if there's a reference number there, but the very first one at the top of the page, that is a savings that will continue. That's some OIT, some technology costs, some secure token style licenses that will live on into the biennial. The vacancy there, that does come back in. So that's only vacant through the end of June, end of FY21. So that position will be back in the 22-23 budget. That we do believe that's necessary. And as Susanna mentioned, that is a State Bureau of Identification position. And then the salaries, of course, that will be back in the mix as the Coronavirus Relief Fund goes away. Maybe there's another opportunity for that down the road, depending on what comes out of the federal government. And the DNA grant as well, we would expect, you try to stay away from grant funding for such a core mission like the Crime Lab. So that would come back into general funding as well, sir, if that's helpful.
Thank you.
And Commissioner, we want to be sure to distinguish between the lab and the computer crime unit, because oftentimes people might use that and refer to that interchangeably, but obviously they're totally two different organizations, so to speak.
Yeah, without question, sir. So while they certainly both have strong investigative aspects, the Computer Crimes Lab, as many of you know, are part of active investigations with detectives and analysts doing the good work around keeping our youth, our kids safe from internet crime, particularly pornography and sex offenses, as well as that other whole realm, which is so 2020, 2021, and now the technology. The technology impacts every investigation that we do. So the specialists that we have in that unit to do analysis on the various items is so incredibly important. And then we have the Crime Lab itself, which is that more traditional analysis and investigation. That could be DNA, it could be firearms, that could be fingerprints, and the list goes on. That's kind of that more traditional, and you have that mindset probably from TV shows and other things. And with this group, conversations that you've had over the number of years about what the Crime Lab does. Pretty amazing folks in both realms, and we're truly lucky to have them.
And we're still short, are we not, with the investigators, especially in the computer crime unit, which we'll get to that in the next budget, but I just want to make sure that I get that question into you, that's all.
Yes, sir. I think we are. I don't think there's any question about that, despite the amazing support that came from yourself, Senator, and the legislature to support some additional positions. Yeah, the caseload there is still very high. There's certainly concerns with the isolation that came about from COVID, and absolutely scientifically necessary. But it is putting certain members of our population in harm's way, or in this case, kids are spending far more time on computers. That means that predators have access to them in that world. So that's just one aspect that we're certainly concerned about. And I think we will see the ramifications of some of that as we come into further into 21 and that balancing act with COVID and vaccines and all those other things continue.
Thank you. Other questions from the committee of the commissioner? Seeing none. Thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate your time and discussion.
On the call today, Kendra has an amazing financial background and is such a huge piece of doing the math with these kind of issues. We also have Colonel John Cody is with us for the Maine State Police, and Lieutenant Colonel Bill Harwood. They're all here as well, and amazing partners across the board. So thank you very much.
Thank you all. And we did have a list of all those names, so we appreciate everybody being here. Thank you for that. Okay, I think is the committee ready to make a motion on these 4 initiatives? And then if there's a second, we'll go on from there.
Senator Diamond, I'd make a motion that we move the 4 initiatives into the supplemental budget.
Got it. Motion been made to move in on the 4 initiatives. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Discussion. Seeing no discussion. Motion is before us, all in on the 4 initiatives. Those in favor, oh, that's right, we have to do a formal roll call. Yeah, so we'll go right to Darlene Take
Okay,
us,
turn your mics on. Representative Perry,
Yes.
Representative Williams,
Yes.
Senator Chipman,
Yes.
Senator Farren,
Yes.
Senator Diamond,
yes,
Representative Danny Martin,
Yes.
Representative Perkins,
Yes.
Representative Bryant,
all right.
didn't hear you.
Nope, he's on mute.
No, he's not muted though.
No, he's unmuted.
Oh, where'd he go? Well, we'll come back to him in a minute.
He raised his hand.
He did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Representative Bruce White,
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin,
Yes.
Representative O'Connell,
Yes.
and Representative Seabra.
Yes.
12 in the affirmative, 1 absent.
12 in the affirmative, 1 absent. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll now open up the work session. Yes,
Can I just say one thing?
yes, of course.
Sorry, I just want to let you know, I have to do a report back for AFA. It's due tomorrow. It shouldn't be any big deal, obviously. But I will send it to both of you chairs for you to look at. And if you let me know that you're okay with it, I guess I'll just sign your name on it.
Yep.
If you're all right with that.
Yeah, the committee has given the endorsement, so that would be fine.
Okay. And just so you know, the report back that AFA asked for looks different than this. It has a vote sheet on it. I decided to just stick with this because that's what you used at the public hearing, and sometimes it can be confusing getting a different document.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, I'll send it off to the whole committee once I get it signed.
Okay, very good.
Oh,
Yeah,
and that's it.
AFA can, that'll be fine.
Yep.
Right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Suzanne,
Bye.
I appreciate your help.
Thanks, Suzanne.
All right, we'll now go to what we have 4 bills we're going to do work sessions on: LD 40, LD 43, LD 45, and LD 73. We'll open the work session on the first one, LD 40, to resolve regarding the legislative review of portions of Chapter 305, Rules and Regulations pertaining to traffic movement permits, a major substantive rule of the Department of Transportation, was presented by Representative Martin. Questions, comments? Do we have anybody from the department that would like to make any statements? Does a committee member have anybody from the department? Ms. Fisher?
Senator Diamond, we
Yes.
probably should have the analyst give us an outline of each bill. That's okay.
That's fine, absolutely. Karen, are you ready to do that?
Yes.
Good, okay, let's do it.
Hi, Karen Netto from the Office of Policy and Legal Analysis. So yeah, the only person that testified was the Maine DOT, and they obviously testified in favor of the rules. And there was no testimony in opposition or neither for nor against. The department did say that this rule change is the result of a bill from the 129th legislature, LD 1223, which placed emphasis on incorporating multimodal review prior to requiring any widening of the roadway. So what that resolve did was it directed the Department of Transportation to convene a stakeholder group to look at the traffic movement permit rule, chapter 305. So we have received the preliminary fiscal impact statement. There is no fiscal note required. It did say that there would be a minor cost to the highway fund, but that the additional cost to the department associated with rulemaking could be absorbed within existing budgeted resources. And I do want to add that Deputy Commissioner Nina Fisher and also Megan Russo and the state traffic engineer Steve Landry, I believe I see them all here, are available to answer any questions you may have. I know there were a couple about the distinction between different kinds of trucks, and then a question about landfills in particular. The one thing I want to add before I finished, on the document of all the documents I posted under LD 40, which is basically the rule packet, there was one called a worksheet. And I don't know if any of you had an opportunity to look at that, but I just want to tell you that voting on a major substantive rule resolve can be a little counterintuitive. And I don't think that this committee has a lot of major substantive rules that you review. But I just want to let you know what your options are in terms of voting. So if you do want to authorize adoption of the rule with no changes, then what I would recommend is a straight ought to pass. And then I also want to let you know that a vote of ought not to pass would essentially have the same effect, which is the counterintuitive part. Because killing a resolved would be viewed as a failure of the legislature to act on the rule, then the department can finally adopt the rule. That's kind of the counterintuitive thing. But if you want to affirmatively support your adoption of the rule, then I would recommend ought to pass. So if you don't want to authorize adoption of the rule, then what you would do, the motion would be ought to pass as amended, and I would literally just go into the resolve and add the word not, that the adoption of these rules is not authorized or something to that effect. And then an ought to pass as amended vote would also be appropriate if you wanted them to finally adopt the rule, but you had a few changes that you want the department to incorporate in the rule, then I would outline those in the amendment, and that's how you could make that change. So I just wanted to point out the voting procedure before you.
Thank you, Karen, and I apologize for stepping over you. I had a little brain block there, and I appreciate House Chair for stepping in there and shaking me up a bit. So thank you for that. I would like to ask either Megan or Nina there were a couple of questions, one of which I posed. And Ms. Fisher, why don't you, if you don't mind, I'm going to pose the question back to you. It was just a clarity on the truck size, because it just says truck. It doesn't designate between what would be considered a large tractor trailer, even a double bottom, to a regular smaller truck. And I just wanted, in terms of that equating to a passenger vehicle, I just want to know if that's in the works somehow, or is that an issue, or
Thank you, Senator. Again, I am Nina Fisher. I'm Deputy Commissioner of the Maine Department of Transportation, and it's a pleasure to be with you guys today. We have with us Steve Landry. He is the state traffic engineer, and Steve is actually the one who drafted these rules and worked on them. And if it's with pleasure of the chairs, if we could have Steve answer that question, that might get us a little further along, if that's okay with you, Senator.
Okay, Mr. Landry, I'm not, I suspect this is a quick answer, but I just would like to have some clarity on it. Welcome.
Welcome. I'm Steve Landry. I'm the state traffic engineer at Maine DOT. Maine DOT has guidelines that deal with these, and there are 14 federal highway classifications. Classifications 1, 2, and 3 are considered passenger car equivalents, and anything that's beyond that, larger than that, is considered 2 passenger car equivalents. Some of that's due to the slow moving nature of the traffic, and some of it's due to the length of the individual vehicles. And we take that into account when we're looking at queuing along the roadway.
Thank you. Questions of the committee, from the committee, of either Deputy Commissioner Fisher or Mr. Landry? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. Other questions from the committee pertaining to any aspect of this LD 40?
Senator Diamond?
Yes, Representative Martin.
Thank you, Senator. Not a question, but a comment. As you know, because of technical issues up in northern Maine, this was a bill that I sponsored, my very first bill, and I could not participate. But for the record, I just want to thank Senator Farren for introducing the piece of legislation for me.
Thank you, Representative Martin. And yes, thanks again, Senator Farren, for doing that. We appreciate it. Any further questions at all on LD 40 of anyone? Seeing none, could we have a motion?
Senator Diamond?
Yes, Senator Farren.
Yes. First of all, anything from our House Chair that we can help out and make things easier. I'll probably have a bill. I'll ask you to do the same thing, Representative Martin. So we'll play it out through the session. But I'd like to make a motion of ought to pass for LD 40.
Motion is made ought to pass for LD 40. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Second, discussion. Karen Neto?
I just wanted to remind committee members that during voting that your video needs to be on for your vote to count. And I see at least one member whose video is not on because on YouTube, if your video is off, they don't see you. We see your box and your name in Zoom, but they don't see you on YouTube. So please turn your video on. Thank you.
Do we have everybody's on now? Either Karen or Darlene? Everybody on?
I can see.
Senator Chipman.
Oh, Senator Chipman, you have your little picture, but we need your face.
You're right.
Oh, I paid him to shut his off.
Senator
What a
Chipman.
brutal group.
Which is precisely why we need to make sure he's there.
Exactly. Senator Chipman?
He may have stepped out.
Yeah, he may have to check in later if he wants to vote. Okay, Darlene, let's go.
Okay, Representative Perry. You all need to turn your mics on.
Sorry about that. Yes.
Representative Williams.
Yes.
Senator Chipman's missing. Senator Farren.
Yes.
Senator Diamond.
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin.
Yes.
Representative Perkins.
Yes.
Representative Bryant.
Yes.
Representative Bruce White.
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin.
Yes.
Representative O'Connell.
Yes.
And Representative Seabrook.
Yes.
Okay, 11 to
Senator Chipman's back.
Senator Chipman is back.
Senator Chipman.
Yep, that sounds fine.
Okay.
Oh, did you vote yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Very good.
12 in the affirmative and 1 absent.
Thank you very much. The motion ought to passes. And we'll close the work session on LD 40. The next work session is LD 43, an act to require the Department of Transportation to provide ferry services to Frenchboro, which is presented by Representative McDonald. And we will go to our analyst, Karen. See, I did it right that time. I went right to you.
Thank you. So the current law, if you look at the bill itself, you'll see that current law provides that Maine DOT may, permissive language, may operate the ferry route or routes to and from Frenchboro. And this bill proposes instead to require that. So it would be a duty of the department to provide ferry service to Frenchboro. So currently the list of towns that it is a duty to provide a ferry service are to the towns of North Haven, Vinyl Haven, Islesboro, Matinicus Isle, and Swans Island. And this bill would add Frenchboro to that list. The committee received testimony from those in favor that the way they see this bill is really just giving Frenchboro equal status in the law to the other unbridged island communities that are served by the Maine State Ferry Service. And they did point out that this bill doesn't require additional service or otherwise adjust operations in any manner. There was no opposition to the bill. The department, Maine DOT, did testify neither for nor against. They did talk about how there is a statutory requirement that 50% of the operational costs of the ferry service is subsidized by the highway fund, and the other 50% comes from the Maine State Ferry Service, ticket sales, and parking fees. Although if don't quote me on this, but I thought I heard Commissioner Van Note say at a briefing last week on the 3-year work plan that the ratio is probably more like 70-30 since the pandemic, because of the reduction in passenger and vehicle trips to and from the mainland to the islands due to the pandemic. And so that federal coronavirus relief funds were being used to sort of fill in the gap, since there's a reduction in ticket sales and parking fees. And I hope the department corrects me if I didn't get that right. So the department also talked about, obviously Maine's transportation funding challenges were daunting prior to the onset of the pandemic, and certainly the pandemic has compounded these challenges. So, and both proponents and opponents to the bill did say that ferry service to and from Frenchboro has been provided since the 1960s. And the department said that they don't expect that to change anytime soon, but I think those in favor of the bill would like to see that in statute. In terms of information requests, I think it was Representative Perry who asked the department to provide a chart with a number of trips to each island. And so on the LD 43 link, I did, it's right on the Maine DOT website, and I provided you all with a link for the ferry service schedule. We haven't received the preliminary fiscal impact statement yet. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that we do have another bill that we're hearing next Thursday, the 11th, that also touches the same section of law. It's LD 234, an act to amend the law concerning the annual number of ferry service trips to Matinicus Isle. So I don't think that these two bills would conflict with each other, but I just wanted to make you aware that there's a similar bill for a different island.
Thank you very much, Karen, for that. Questions from the committee? Yes, Representative Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Karen, you mentioned proponents and opponents, and you also mentioned the opponents. Were there any?
Oh, I'm sorry. If I said opponents,
Yeah,
I misspoke. It's the proponents and the department testified neither for nor against.
Thank you.
That's who I meant. They didn't oppose it.
Thank you. Representative Perry.
Yeah, thank you. Karen, I didn't happen to see that link, but did we get the number of passengers, or did they just show number of trips? I'd really like to see the number of passengers, because I think that could have could be the issue. And just more of a comment, not having a fiscal note, I'd kind of like to know what the fiscal note is before we do anything on this bill. In my 8 years on transportation, I've seen us do housekeeping things that turned into huge costs down the road. So I just, I have a little concern there that mandating this mandates everything that goes with those other islands. That's my only concern.
Thank you, Representative Perry, for raising that. Other questions? Representative Martin, you have a question?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering, since folks from MDOT are present, if we could give them an opportunity to potentially attempt to answer some of Representative Perry's questions, and like to see if they have additional comments to make regarding this bill.
Sure. Deputy Commissioner Fisher, welcome.
Thank you, Senator Diamond and Representative Martin. Again, I'm Nina Fisher, Deputy Commissioner for the Maine Department of Transportation. Megan, I just want to verify that the form we gave them does include, I'm in my dining room. She's in the office, so excuse us while we just try to coordinate a little bit here. We do have, it does represent ridership numbers as well, that form that Karen would have provided for you on the link. And obviously those numbers have gone down. That is why we've seen the impact as a result of the coronavirus pandemic.
So Nina, not to interrupt you, they only got what's listed on the website for trip numbers. So
Oh, okay.
this is an internal form, which shows 2019 to 2020 difference.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I mean, the change, we can go month by month if that's helpful for you, but I don't know if that's exactly what Representative Perry is asking for. So we can provide you this internal form. We'd be happy to. As far as the fiscal note information, I mean, obviously we don't develop fiscal notes. Fiscal notes are developed by the Office of Fiscal and Program Review. We are on some occasions asked, in most occasions asked our opinion as to whether or not there would be incurred costs from this. And to be honest, if this was asking us to provide increased service to the island of Frenchboro, we would have been in opposition to that, as we would be in any bill that would earmark our funds or our work plan process. Where this was not asking for increased funds, which again we would oppose. It was simply asking that it's guaranteed we provide service to them, which is service we've been providing for the last 50 years. So I don't know if that's helpful. We can get this information. Megan, if you can email this at some point to Karen and get that out to the committee, that would be beneficial. But I hope that kind of helps.
Thank you. So there will be some more information coming. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. Yeah, not I guess, it does make sense. So thank you for that. Representative Perry, is that is okay if you wouldn't mind waiting?
Well, kind of precisely what Ms. Fisher just said. If there was money involved, they would have been opposed. We don't know, once the word may goes away and you must do travel to that island, they've been doing it for 50 years. They're probably going to keep doing it for 50 years. But what happens when it's 10 people and you got to spend $5 million on a new dock, or you need to, the infrastructure? That's my only worry with precisely what Ms. Fisher said, that if money was involved this time, they would have said no, but we don't know by changing the word may what the money might be next year or the year after.
Thank you. Representative McDonald, the sponsor of the bill, would like to address the committee. Go ahead, Representative McDonald.
Thank you, Senator. So I'd just like to highlight a couple of things. One is that I became aware of this issue 2 years ago, prior pandemic. This is just the first opportunity that I had a chance to introduce this bill. So when the idea came about, the pandemic did not exist. And then to Representative Perry's point, and perhaps DOT can outline this a little better, but the Department of Transportation recently, I believe, made significant investments into the infrastructure in Frenchboro. And so that ask has already occurred and been fulfilled. So just to reiterate that Frenchboro isn't asking for anything here other than parity and equal recognition and some assurances that in the event, Commissioner Van Note will not be the commissioner forever. Administrations and leadership changes, and they're really just looking for some assurance for the long term, not for any sort of short-term ask or anything of that nature. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative McDonald. Senator Farren.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question, and then I think a follow-up is, so we heard, right, in statute, it's 50-50. The people utilizing the service and 50% from the transportation fund. But currently, way it's set up with the handshake agreement or the agreement that's been in place, it's somewhere around 70-30. So if we put this into statute, is there a potential to what Representative McDonald just mentioned about a future commissioner or a future administration upping that piece to put more burden on the residents of Frenchboro?
Anybody care to answer that?
Karen.
Well, I will say that the statutory language is 50-50. So unless you change that particular statute, that's what it is.
So it could be interpreted that way if we wanted to do that. The second thing that I'm bouncing around a little bit and like to have the discussion with the chairs and the committee members is, in light of the fact that we have at least one more ferry bill coming for us, and potentially we don't know what else is coming out of the revisor's office, if we should table this bill until we see the other ferry bills and maybe deal with something in entirety, especially when we just heard that there might be some more information coming, and Representative Perry's concern on the fiscal note, whether we should buy ourselves a little more time to compile those all together. And I just asked the question of my committee members on what they think of that.
Just before there's an answer, and there's a couple of requests for answering. Remember that if someone moves a tabling motion, it can't be debated beforehand, which means it strictly needs to be a tabling motion. So go to Representative Perry.
Yeah, just real quick. Karen, you mentioned that it's in statute 50/50. How is it 70/30 right now?
I'm not sure. Maybe because ridership is down. That, I mean, that's a question for the department, but obviously.
So the committee
It
didn't
sounds
meet
like
last
it's-
year and allow that change.
It's an appropriate use of coronavirus relief funds. You know, I'm sure there's criteria that they've met, and in this particular case, it met that criteria, and they're able to use some federal dollars to kind of backfill that need that was missing from the, you know, the revenue from the Maine State Ferry Service, the tickets and the parking.
Wouldn't there have to be governor's action or legislative action or something to make that change?
Why don't
I'm
we
gonna toss it to the
Karen, do you
department.
want to answer that? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's a question for the department to answer.
Jack, I was going to ask Deputy Commissioner Fisher if she would maybe help us with that.
Yeah, thanks, Karen. I'm trying to review the statute right now. I don't know. So just to clarify as well, since we're talking a little bit about finances, is it's 50% highway fund dollars. This is for only operations. Okay, capital is 100% us at this time. So 50% operations comes from the highway fund, and 50% comes from the fare box. So it's not on the municipalities, it's on the users of the service. That is a distinction that I think is worth noting. So when fare box revenues dipped, we still, when you send a ferry boat out, you have to bring it back. And you know, there's employment regulations with that as well. So that's why we have cut some of the runs that we make, but you know, you have an employee that works an 8-hour day or a 12-hour shift, you are going to have runs during that time that are not as full as they should be, hence the drop in the fare boxes. Short of pulling up the statute right now, which I was trying to do and everything kind of froze on me, I think it's slightly permissive for the 50%. I don't know if it's shall, and it is federal coronavirus relief funding that we are using for transit providers. So that is supplementing the transit service. It's supplementing part of the fare box revenue that we are not receiving.
Thank you. Other questions from the committee? Representative Martin?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would have deferred to Representative White, but I'd like to make an observation. As much as I hate tabling motions, the observation that I would have, Mr. Chair, is that it appears because of several unanswered questions that we could potentially see come out with a divided vote here if we vote on this today. And clearly it'd be great if we could have a unanimous vote. And certainly I would support a tabling motion if somebody would like to make one.
Representative White, you were up next. Bruce White.
Yeah, I originally thought this was a pretty straightforward bill because we were changing a word, right? I understand Chairman Martin's point though in that. I would have liked to have seen us get it done. I think it's unrelated to any other bills, ferry bills, but you know, I appreciate what Representative Martin said that it would be nice if we could have a unanimous vote, but I would have liked to have seen us move this forward. I think it's pretty straightforward, actually.
Thank you, Representative White. Representative Perry.
Yeah, Ms. Fisher, again, on the coronavirus, the CARES Act money that's subsidizing the fare box, would it be just the fare box, or are we getting some subsidy for highway fund? If the highway fund's still doing their 50% and the riders are not doing theirs because it's part rider, part CARES Act money, wouldn't some of that CARES Act money be actually going to DOT to cover DOT's side of it?
No, because the operating cost tends to be fixed, right? It costs X amount of dollars to operate the vessel. And the fare, and that cost, the fares reflect what their 50% should be, right? So if the fares obviously would not be $2, because that would not equate to enough revenue to cover their half of the fare box. So the operating costs are fixed. So the money that we allocate through the highway fund budget remains fixed, and we expect those fare boxes to cover the remaining 50%. Again, just operating, not capital. When the coronavirus, when we used the CARES Act, it was because it was that share, because the operating is fixed. So does that kind of?
Well, yeah, but you know me, I'm always trying to get highway fund more money.
Oh yeah, us too. We're with you there. And I think the fact that we did not have to, we had these funds to utilize was helpful.
Yeah.
But they were nothing comes from the federal government without strings, and these were very dictated in the use of funding and how we were able to utilize them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Farren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to make a motion to table LD 43.
Motion's been made to table LD 43. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second. Thank you. No discussion. Sorry. All those in favor of the tabling motion?
Does Darlene have to take a roll?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Everybody unmuted? All right, Representative Perry,
Yes.
Representative Williams,
Yes.
Senator Chipman,
Yes.
Senator Farren,
Yes.
Senator Diamond,
Yes.
Representative Martin,
Yes.
Representative Perkins,
Yes.
Representative Bryant,
Yes.
Representative White, Bruce,
No.
no, and Representative Martin, Tom Martin,
Yes.
Representative O'Connell,
Yes.
and Representative Seabrook.
A reluctant yes.
Okay, so we've got 11 in favor, 1 against, and 1 absent.
Motion to table has been passed. And close the work session on LD 43. That was easy. Okay, here we go with LD 45. Resolve directing the Department of Transportation to improve a bridge over the west branch of the Mattawamkeag River in Morrow Plantation and associated culverts, presented by Representative Johansson. Karen.
So in terms of testimony, there was no testimony in favor other than the sponsor. And he contends that when the state put in Bridge 6239, they restricted the flow of the river, which has very low banks and a wide floodplain upstream from the bridge. And up the road, several yards from the bridge are two 3-foot culverts that drain the floodplain during a high water. And apparently between beaver dams and one particular high water event, it caused one of the culverts to fail. And the other one apparently is working in diminished capacity. So I think what the sponsor contends is that the state should have put in larger culverts when the bridge was replaced, and that the town of Morrow Plantation does not have the resources to do the work. I think he said it would cost a little over $500,000 to fix the 2 culverts. The department did testify in opposition to the bill, Maine DOT that is, as they would oppose any measure that directly earmarks highway fund dollars on or proposes additional unscheduled work into their annual 3-year work plan. And they did say that that bridge is not posted. It remains open to the traffic and it's listed in good condition. Although I think we heard that the bypass detour length is between 7 and 12 miles. We did not hear any testimony, neither for nor against. We have not received a preliminary fiscal impact statement yet, although, like I said, the estimated cost, at least what we heard from the sponsors, approximately $500,000. And I'm not going to read it to you, but the department did explain why the bridge is their responsibility at this point. It's classified as a low-use bridge, although it probably might be considered a local bridge based on the current average annual daily traffic. But if you have any questions about that, again, Megan Russo and Nina Fisher are available to answer questions about this bill.
Thank you, Karen. Questions from the committee? Yes, Senator Farren.
Well, we got to have somebody.
Yes.
Just a follow-up question, I guess, to the commission, to DOT is that, first of all and foremost, I do not like the earmark things. We do that 3-year plan. We know how tough finances are and everything else. But there was one thing that I picked up in the testimony about the size of the culverts and the backing up when it does occur. And I was wondering if maybe Steve might have still stuck around a little bit. Is there any thought about that as far as, because listen, I deal with design engineers all the time, and sometimes things do get undersized or inappropriate or whatever, and just kind of wondering if that contention about the size of the culverts that were put in, whether that had any merit or not.
Anyone for the department would like to share some information on Senator Farren's inquiry?
Sure. Thank you, Senator Diamond. Again, I'm Nina Fisher, Deputy Commissioner for the Maine Department of Transportation. The size, so Steve Landry is a great traffic engineer. And we are first and foremost an engineering organization. And you can't swing a dead cat and not have an engineer in this building, although it's a little empty these days. In talking to our bridge maintenance engineers, they are not certain that the protocol that was outlined in this legislation would actually address any of the concerns about making it scour critical. Upsizing the culverts would not change that. It's the scope of the flooding. It's based on the engineering evidence that the bridge maintenance engineers have identified that would not impact the scour critical nature of this infrastructure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Nina, you're just so you know, the audio sometimes is kind of cutting in and out. Just to give you a heads up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, certainly. Representative Seabra.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This committee has a long history of not legislating department priorities. That's why we have engineers. That's why the department puts its 3-year work plan together. And that's why we trust the department to do what it does, and we have oversight. So if I might right now, I'd like to offer an ought not to pass.
Motion's been made. Wait, is that a motion, Representative Seabra?
Yes, motion ought not to pass.
Thank you. Motion made ought not to pass. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second, discussion. Yes, Representative Perry.
Yeah, just real quick. I want to agree with Senator Farren and Representative Seaver on us not telling, DOT which projects to do when and stuff like that. I also see that sometimes things fall through the cracks. And this committee over the past has, we're very good at saying no, but we like sending letters to the department to, keep an eye on this one. Maybe it's a real issue that, possibly when something has to be done there, that they can, kind of keep an eye on this. If we have more flooding events or whatever, it could be a real problem we don't want to have to replace a bridge because we didn't change some culverts at some point. Not to tell them what to do, just to maybe for the committee to ask them to just keep an eye on this.
We'll entertain that after the motion is voted on. Is there further discussions on the motion ought not to pass? Seeing none. The motion is made, ought not to pass. Darlene, would you take us through the vote?
I will. Everybody turn your mics on, and we got two people that need to put, Senator Chipman needs to put his screen on if you see it. There
Real
it is.
quick, has there been a second?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Representative Perry,
Yes.
Representative Williams,
Yes.
Representative Dustin White, not here. Senator Chipman,
Yes.
Senator Farren,
Yes.
Senator Diamond,
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin,
Yes.
Representative Perkins,
Yes.
Representative Bryant,
Yes.
Representative Bruce White,
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin,
Yes.
Representative O'Connell,
Yes.
and Representative Seabrook.
Yes.
12 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, 1 absent.
Motion ought not to pass, passes unanimously. We'll close the hearing on this work session. Thank you. Next work session, the last bill of the day is LD 73, an act to authorize municipalities to allow harbor masters and deputy harbor masters to use red and white auxiliary lights and sirens when responding to emergencies, presented by Representative McCray. Yes, Karen.
And I probably should have mentioned at the outset that I think it'll be standard practice that we do send a Zoom invite to the sponsors of these various bills. They may or may not participate. And of course, it's always the chair's discretion whether you call on them. But I believe Representative McCray is here. And you also asked for Lieutenant Bruce Scott from Maine State Police to be available for the work session. So he's here as well. So really, folks really testified on the amended version. And when I say amended version, the sponsor, Representative McCray, did work with Maine State Police prior to the public hearing. And at the public hearing, she presented her proposed amendment to LD 73 to sort of address some of the state police concerns. And so they did testify in favor of the amended version of LD 73. And what the amendment does is it removes the authorization for a vehicle operated by a harbor master or deputy harbor master to use a siren. And then it also further specifies the type of lights that may be used and also the locations where the lights may be located. And finally, it includes at the very end an explicit statement that the municipality may revoke the authorization to use the lights at any time. And it actually, I think Lieutenant Scott did testify to this, that it would mirror a current statute that grants permission for a municipality with the approval of the fire chief to authorize firefighters to use red lights or a combination of red and white lights when responding to fire or other emergency. And if you want to take a look at that, it's on page 267 of your 29A compilation, the motor vehicle statutes. So this amended version mirrors that statute. There was no testimony in opposition to the bill. We did hear testimony neither for nor against from the Maine Municipal Association. And the only reason why they testified in that manner is because their legislative policy committee had not yet met before the public hearing, so they didn't have an official position on it. But what they did say is that they took a poll of a subcommittee of municipal officials, and they seemed to indicate support for the amended version of the bill. We have received the preliminary fiscal impact statement. It indicates that there's no fiscal impact, and I guess I'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much, Karen. Lieutenant Scott, thank you for being here. We're going to get to the sponsor in a second, but we just review briefly. You thought that your position is the bill is fine as long as the siren authorization has been amended out. Is that accurate, number one? And number two, do you have any other comments about it?
Yeah, Senator Diamond, thank you. It's Bruce Scott, for those that don't know me, from Fairfield. And yes, I reviewed the amended bill and we support it in its entirety. The initial bill had some concerns with the siren and the lack of emergency vehicle language, and also the location and the size of the lighting. So that was all addressed in the amendment, and we support it as written now.
Thank you. And Representative McCray, anything else you want to add to this? It seems like it's pretty straightforward at this moment.
I feel like it's pretty straightforward. Thank you. I appreciate working with Lieutenant Scott. It was very helpful, and with the harbor masters who were interested in being able to get where they need to get safely and quickly, because they do respond to water emergencies, and those can be quite significant. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us too, by the way. Questions from the committee? Representative Perry.
Yeah, real quick, Lieutenant Scott. This doesn't affect any of the harbor masters that are under the police department in their towns, correct?
It'll affect them in the sense that if they're operating in their personally owned vehicles, they would have the authority to go ahead and add lighting as well.
Okay.
But if they're at work, they're in their department vehicles, if they're already equipped with emergency lighting, no, it would not affect them or take away any authority. It would only be permissive, and that it would allow the personal vehicles to be outfitted.
Okay, no, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Representative Martin.
Mr. Chair, are you prepared to entertain a motion?
Yes, I am.
Mr. Chair, I would move LD 73 ought to pass as amended.
Motion's been made, ought to pass, amended LD 73. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you very much. Discussion. Seeing none. The motion is ought to pass as amended on LD 73. Darlene will take the vote.
Everybody on mute. Representative Perry.
Yes.
Representative Williams.
Yes.
Representative Justin White, absent. Senator Chipman.
Yes.
Senator Farren.
Yes.
Senator Diamond.
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin.
Yes.
Representative Perkins. Oh,
Left.
left. Representative Bryant.
Yes.
Representative Bruce White.
Yes.
Representative Tom Martin.
Yes.
Representative O'Connell.
Yes.
Representative Seabra.
Yes.
And did Representative Perkins come back?
Yes, he did.
Representative Perkins.
He's connecting.
Oh. Good thing there's a bunch of eyes on the screen.
Eileen, did you get me as yes? I'm sorry, my computer went haywire on me.
I did not get you as yes, but is that where you're going?
Yes, please, ma'am.
All righty. 12 in the affirmative, none in the negative, and one absent.
Thank you very much. The vote total, therefore, the motion to ought to pass as amended passes.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you very much, Representative. And thank you, Lieutenant Scott. So that ends our work session and our day of the day. Remember, we'll see you all next Tuesday. We have 5 bills for public hearings. Chairman Martin, anything you'd like to add?
I would just recommend in regards to the LD that we just tabled, and I'm not going to discuss it, but it would be great if those that have any concerns regarding this piece of legislation to reach out to the department to see if their unanswered questions could be in fact answered.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. We appreciate all your hard work and attention as we're working our way through this electronic maneuvers, and it's going, I think it's going really well, and I thank you all for that. Thank you, Darlene. Yes.
You because next week is 2 public hearings. The email you're going to get from me is going to say Transportation Committee versus me. That's the name. Transportation Committee, you're invited as a panelist.
And just be heads up that I'm not sure that came through to some of us this time. Remember?
I know you didn't get it. Who else didn't get it?
I didn't get it. I didn't get it either, but might be I don't know. I'll
Well,
look into it.
I didn't think I got it until I looked harder and then I found it.
And then you found it.
Darlene, is there any way you can forward it out from yourself, like the morning of the day that we're supposed to meet? So we
I
all-
do. I,
Like
Oh.
from your email address, you know? Because I didn't get the one earlier. I'm not
well,
sure.
because if I send it out the way that I sent it out later today, as an email from me, it puts you all over as an attendee. Then I
Oh.
have to read down through the whole list to find you guys if there's 100 people.
Okay.
Coming
Okay,
in to
It would be
testify.
good if we could just get it fine tuned the way it's supposed to work, right?
Right, so Senator Diamond didn't get it, Representative Martin. Anybody else?
I didn't get it.
Tom Martin, yeah.
Tom Martin? Both Martins
Yeah, I didn't get it, Darlene, either.
and Senator Chipman.
I got the one from you, but not the one that you mentioned that comes from Transportation Committee.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna check with IT and let you guys know.
very much, everybody. Again, have a happy Super Bowl. Yes. Tom
All
Martin,
right.
just waving goodbye.
Thank you. See you later.
Hey, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for
Hey,
everything.
all, thank you. Good work, folks.
Have a good
Well
weekend.
done.
Take care.
Well done.
Anybody going to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
At home. Go Bucks.
See you later.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.